Hey there, fellow marketers. Professor Wolters here, and today we're here in Madison County in Iowa, home of the covered bridges of Madison County. That's actually the Hogback Bridge, if you want to know where we are. And today we're going to talk about some of the factors that come up in determining prices. And I know we've talked about the 5 C's of price and pricing tactics. This is more of a general discussion of different factors that are out there that could really influence your prices and how you set your prices and your future prices, your discounts. So I want to kind of go through a lot of stuff in this video. And the first set of factors I want to talk about are demand factors. Okay, if you look at demand factors, you might look at your elasticity of demand. Remember in your economics course, how much a price change will affect demand. So if you see it and see that, well, if we raise our price a little bit, we drop off in sales. Okay, we don't want to raise our prices then. Or do we see if we lower our price a little bit, will it spike sales, or does it make no difference if we go up or down? That's going to influence your pricing, because if you see that no matter what I price, people buy the same amount, well, we can raise our prices if we want. Or if we see that no, if we lower our price, we can sell a lot more. Maybe that will influence us to price lower. But there is this elasticity that we have to think about, and a lot of it just comes from how important the product is for us. So if it's a product that we have to survive, like it's medicine, yes, you can charge, you'll see pharmacies, they can charge pretty much anything they want because I need it to survive, I'm going to pay it, right? And so you have that kind of elasticity you have to think about. And if you think about it in terms of the B2B versus B2C world, you see a lot more kind of inelastic pricing in the B2B world than you do see elastic, because the B2B world, I need your product to make my product. So if I have a tomato sandwich at my restaurant and it's a big seller, it doesn't matter what the price happens, from the farmers, people still want to buy our tomato sandwiches. So I have to buy it anyway, even if that price goes up or that price goes down. So you really don't see price, increases affecting as much in the B2B world. B2C, yeah, people are a lot of times, hey, this is my individual thing. I don't need to go to McDonald's for that new $7 burger. I can go someplace else because that's gone too high for what I think it's worth, okay? So that's kind of the basic, elasticity of demand, okay, you want to think about. But there's also cross elasticities. So when you're looking at cross elasticities, you're looking at how demand changes depending on other goods and services. So if I sell hot dog buns, well, we know that the number of hot dogs sold will influence the number of hot dog buns sold, right? And so that might be something we look at. Because if we see that, hot dogs are going to go on sale, hey, people might be buying more of our stuff. Or if we see, hot dogs are getting more expensive, probably means we're going to have less hot dog bun sales. And so this might be something that will influence your pricing. Also, you can look at it in terms of value perception. I mean, what do your customers think about your products? Does quality matter to them? Because, if you can see there's a high-end quality product and a low-end cheap product that's not as good, if you have that, well, that's going to influence your pricing, right? Because they might demand the quality product more than the less quality product, or it might actually not matter to them. For example, when you go to buy sugar at the store, do you look for Domino or do you just buy the one on price? You don't really have much quality difference there, so you don't care as much in certain products. So that's going to influence your pricing. Another thing you want to look at is your market's ability to buy. Are they able to buy at this time? So if you have a booming economy, then yeah, people are buying more. You'll notice in a booming economy, prices are going up because people are willing to pay more. They feel better about the economy. When it's a crashed economy and a recession, people start spending less, saving more money. Maybe I don't need to do that. That's going to influence your pricing as well. So we really have to think about the market's ability to buy. Can they buy these things? Now, another thing where demand can really affect you is the market's perception of the price difference and kind of the market's perception on price in general. So, for example, if my new phone lasts twice as long as my last phone, is twice as fast as my last phone, and can take twice as good of photos as my last phone, is it worth double the price? I don't think any phone's worth $2,000, right? I'm like, no, I don't value it that much. So you have to think about that. How do they perceive the price? Because we have to see is how much is that better product worth to them? How much is it paying off for them? Yes, I'd love to have a phone that lasts twice as long and twice as fast, but I'm not willing to spend double the price. That's going to influence your pricing as well. Also, you can just look at your general market conditions that are out there. Remember, I talked about recessions, but also you look at the cyclical side of things. That's why when it's the day after Christmas, you can get all the Christmas decorations like half off. The day after Easter, all that Easter candy, half off. Why? Because we know that people buy Christmas stuff going up to Christmas, then once it's over, forget it. You're gonna have to inspire me to buy with 80% off, or buy one, get 10 free, right? And so you have that. So that kind of looks at the demand factors, how that can influence pricing, but also we have to think about our business and how we run it, and we have to look at our cost factors, okay? So what's our cost of goods sold? How much does it cost for us to make our product? How much does it cost to sell our product? That's gonna influence what we charge, because you have to realize is making the shirt, it's not just making the shirt, it's delivering the shirt, it's having the website you can have and all these things. That's going to influence what we have to price. That's going to be in there. That's why if you ever order pizza, they're like, oh, if you have delivery, there's that delivery charge that goes on there. Or they have a special carry out only special for $4 or $5 for a pizza. That's because they're eliminating some of their costs, and that can influence the price. Because what you don't realize is sometimes covering the marketing costs can be extremely expensive. For example, in movies, you have the budget for the movie, plus then you have to market the movie. And that could be, if you've got like an Avengers movie or something like that, that could be hundreds of millions of dollars of stuff going on. So that's going to influence some things you have to think about. Now, another thing you want to look at when you're thinking about your pricing, you're also thinking about anticipated costs or future costs. For example, what would the cost be for lawsuits if our car didn't work, or if our car crashed or something went bad? Do I need to factor in that pricing so I have a backup bubble of cash to pay for any possible problems? And sometimes it's nothing bad. Sometimes it's just, how do I factor in the services that people will need later that I want to give them? When I sell guarantees or warranties, 10 years, 100,000 miles. Okay, how much am I going to sell that warranty for? And do I put it into the price of the car? Because then I have to think about is how much service they actually going to use, how much is that going to cost for us? That's why they sell them to you, because they know that most of the time you're probably not going to use up your 100,000 mile, how much you pay for it with your car. So they're like, oh yeah, I'll charge you this, and I'll charge you $4,000 for it, but you might only use $3,000 of services over that 10 years. So hey, we're making money there, but we have to kind of factor in how much we think it's going to cost for all that service or possible warranties we have to kind of replace, or guarantees we have to fix. This is one thing you got to think about in pricing as well. Now, another thing you want to look at is our economic objectives. What are we going to try to do with our products? Is there something that we're looking at? Look, I want to charge a low price so that I can just make a lot of these projects, so I can kind of get those economies of scale and amortize the cost over a big number of products. That can influence your pricing too. Or maybe you're a company that just looks at break-even pricing. We know that we need to sell 400 units at this price so we can break even with making this. Now, the next set of factors actually has to do with your competition, okay? And when you think of your competition, they can influence your prices quite a bit, because one, they'll set up maybe the perception of what things are worth in the mind of customers. Think about it. When you think of the single cheeseburger at McDonald's, you base that price off what's the single cheeseburger at Burger King, what's the single cheeseburger at Culver's, what's the single cheeseburger at Wendy's, and you kind of say, okay, the cheap burger is between $1 and $1.50. Like, that's the going kind of rate. Well, that will influence your pricing too. Also, you need to look at the structure of your competition. Are you fighting tooth and nail? Are there price wars going on? Or are you kind of getting along? If we're getting along, we're not fighting over the same customers. Yeah, our prices won't be as influenced by our competitors. But if you're like in a fast food thing where you're fighting over everybody driving down the highway to decide if they take a right to Culver's or a left to McDonald's, that might influence you. Also, you might look at market share. Think about it. If we want to have 50% of the market, don't we have to price at a point that 50% of the market, or actually more than 50% of the market, could actually afford to buy our product? Think about it. Ferrari is never going to get 50% of the car market, because where they price their Ferraris is so high that 50% of the population definitely cannot buy one. Other things you might look at, barriers to entry, intention, like the intent of rivals. There's a lot of, the 5 forces model stuff that really influence this, because if I know that if I enter into a market or in an industry or into a town, if I'm a restaurant, if I'm a fast food restaurant, I know that I'm going to enter with Mark's Burger Hut, and I know that McDonald's will have tons and tons of deals to kind of get people to go there and not go to my restaurant. Well, that intent of the rival, that might influence my pricing as well. I'm going to have some really good deals when we open up to entice people to come to my restaurant versus a McDonald's or someplace else. Now, another thing in terms of competitive forces that can really influence your pricing that's not necessarily a real competitor to you is also available substitutes. Like, how much does it cost to do something different? Okay, so if you're looking at a trip to Europe, you might be comparing, oh, we could go to France or Germany or Italy. It's going to cost about the same. We have that, but then you're like, oh, but if we substitute the countries in Europe and say, well, why don't we just go to do a road trip in the US? I mean, that's a completely different trip. Road trip to US versus flights to Europe. Like, whoa, hey, I could save a lot of money just driving around and not buying 4 tickets for the family to Europe. That's, $5-6 grand for those flight tickets versus I'm driving my car around the country and showing my kids beautiful places like the, bridges of Madison County. That could influence pricing as well. Now, our next set of factors in determining price have to deal with strategic issues or strategy issues for our business. Think about it. If we're looking at the target market we're going to select, won't that influence our pricing? Like if I'm a bar and I say, look, I want to go for students. By saying that, you already know we're going to have drink specials and cheaper drinks, and drinks are going to be the more popular version than the Cristal or Hennessy kind of higher price stuff, right? But if I say, well, our objective is to get the double income, no kids people to come out to downtown and drink the fancy stuff, well, if we got that, well, okay, our prices are going to be higher. So who we're targeting is really going to fit in. But also you have to think about that market you're going to target. What do they expect? Okay, what are the prices they're kind of thinking about? That's why when you see, McDonald's, if they charge $7 for a burger, you're like, wait, my mind doesn't really accept McDonald's for $7. It's more, $4 or $5 or under, right? And so you have that kind of idea in there. You need to know that. Also, you might look at your product positioning. Think about it. For a company like Toyota, they know that we want to position a set of cars that are for everybody and to position ourselves for cars for more expensive cars. Well, we know for those more expensive cars, maybe we come up with a different brand to position for them. That's why if it says Lexus on it, oh, that's the more expensive car. The Toyota is the more, affordable version of these cars. Because the product positioning is going to be different. High-end cars versus, everyday cars. The thing is, you might look at your pricing objectives. What do you want to get done with your pricing? That can influence you if you're just trying to get, market share or increase sales, or just, penetration pricing to get into the market, or you could be looking at, your marketing program. If you think of companies like Joseph A. Banks, they used to sell, they sell, men's clothing, and they always had these deals. Like during the week, it's $99 for a shirt, but every holiday weekend, it's $99. You get 3 shirts. Why is that? Well, we see that our marketing program is basically, if you need a shirt because you need a shirt, you're going to pay the price. But those people that could get inspired to buy clothes, we'll put those on for special, and that's who we're going to price for with those special 3 shirts for $99 deals. Now, other strategic things you need to think about in terms of related to your pricing, you might look at where the product is in the product life cycle. When things are new and just coming out, they tend to be more expensive. If they've been on the market for a while, the price goes down. It's like if you put a house on the market, you'll notice the longer it's on the market, the more the price comes down, right? Because, hey, you've been out there, people haven't wanted it at that price, we need to get rid of it at this new price, and you'll see that can influence things. And also, if you're looking at product differentiation, if your product is a lot different than the other ones that are out there, you can charge more. People are like, oh, this is so different. I understand. It's like, oh, it's a fancy burger place. Oh, with like fancy lamb burgers with goat cheese made by the goats that you do yoga in the back. Yeah, okay, I can understand those burgers are going to be a little more expensive because the product differentiation is so different than the traditional kind of burger. Now, the next set of factors in determining price I want to talk about, one, you want to look at trade factors, okay? If you think about your supply chain, okay, basically, where's the power in that channel? Who can dictate price? That could be something that influences you. Coke can really dictate the price for Coke because they're such a big player. But for a lot of companies, when you sell to Walmart, Walmart dictates the price to you, right? And so that can influence what you can sell and your price that you can offer. So that could be something you think about just in terms of your overall industry. Also, you can look at just traditions and roles that are out there. Do certain partners get preference? Oh, you've been working with us for a long time, you get a discount. I work with a company that puts ads on my website, and the longer you're with them, they give you a better percentage. So their price for hosting gets better for you over time. And of course, you might look at margins or traditional margins that your industry have. That can influence your pricing. And then to finish off, I think another really important factor to remember is actually legal factors can really influence your pricing depending on the industry you're in. If it's energy production, usually there's a monopoly there and the government might set a cap for you. So you're going to have to think about that's the most we can charge. How do we go around this? Or you might look at, maybe you have price discrimination things you have to worry about. Because, you can have it where student pricing and senior citizen pricing and maybe veteran pricing, what are those legal things you can offer? Because some places you can't offer discounts based on, age or whatever. So just some other things that could influence your pricing strategies. All right. So I thought this was kind of a good thing to talk about just to get some of the overall factors that are out there in determining price. And I know there's a lot more factors out there. I just want to put like a bunch of stuff together to give you an idea of what's going on so you can be better prepared for setting prices for your business. All right. So I wish you all the best. I'll say bye from here in Madison County, Iowa. I'm going to go visit some more of these bridges. Bye.